I feel like this year at Olympia, they say it's going to be in December this year, right?
Yeah,
I think the most exciting part about this Olympia is Flex Lewis going
right.
to a men's opens. He was a champion for many years in 212 division. He was considered to be the best of all time in 212. Now he's going to men's open. Now, do you think he's going to win? What do you think his chances are? How do you think he's going to do?
Well, every time I've seen Flex Lewis win, my first thought has always been this guy is actually good enough to compete in the Open Olympia. He's got everything. Got those huge calves. He's got the back detail. He's got everything. And then, like, what was it one of his last years? He said something about retiring. He was going to spend time with his kid, and and this and that. And I said to myself, gee, that's kind of sad. I would have loved to see him compete in the Open because, I mean, he's got everything. Like I say, if you judge a head to toe body, he's got to do well. The only problem with him is he's got he's got the Gesundheit. He's got the help. He's got that what they call the height problem. In other words, over the height problem is he's not as tall as the other guy. It's not that the other guys are giants, but what is he? Something like 5'6", 5'7"? I don't know what he is, something like that. I mean, you can see he's a little shorter than the other guys. I mean, there's been a lot of great bodybuilders in the past that I felt should have won the title. I think this directly applies to Flex Lewis. These men, I believe, because I was at these contests. For example, in 1990, I had what the oh, gee, I forgot his name for a second. I had it right in front of me. God, Lee Labrada. Lee Labrada. He was going against Lee Haney, who's a fantastic bodybuilder. And unfortunately, that was the year they tested for steroids, and a lot of the guys looked off that year. They really did. And the thing is, Lee Haney looked great, but he wasn't at his best. Whereas Lee Labrada was shredded, ripped, finished, head to toe body, had everything. I remember after the prejudging telling a friend of mine, Lee Labrada is going to win. And sure enough, one of the judges confided to me, this was after the prejudging, said, guess what, Jerry? I said, what? He said, Lee Labrada is actually ahead of Lee Haney. I said, seriously? Because I picked Lee Labrada. I said, wow. I said, the judging is right on. I'm glad to see that. Comes the night show, and Lee Haney wins again. Remember, he had already won a couple of Olympias. So, I asked one of the officials, I don't want to mention his name because he's still around, but I asked one of the officials, I said, how could Lee Labrada lose the contest when he won the prejudging? How's that possible? The judge, the guy told me? He says, Lee won because of his presentation. I said, excuse me? Presentation? He says, well, the way he posed. If you ever see Lee, go on YouTube. I'm sorry. Go on YouTube. Look at a video of Lee Labrada posing. The guy was superb. He was a master poser. He looked like he was doing a ballet dance, for crying out loud. And in all due respect to Lee Haney, Lee would pose like this, Lee Haney. Nothing, no flow, nothing. So, and they're telling me that Lee Haney was a better poser. I personally believe that Lee won that year, Lee Haney, because he was the success of Mr. Olympia. He had the impetus going for him because he had won several years, and also because Lee Labrada was a smaller bodybuilder. I had Sean Ray winning the Olympia maybe once or twice. I've told this to Sean Ray. It's not that I'm trying to kiss his ass. I don't dislike Sean, but I told him the truth. I said, being objective, I felt that you had the most complete physique. But in other words, I've seen this over and over again, where the shorter guy, even if he has the most complete physique, has everything together, muscle definition, still loses to the big guy. And in fact, one year, many years ago, they had one of those Mr. Olympia press conferences. I brought it up. I was in the audience. I asked the question. I think it was actually Sean Ray who answered. I said, Sean, don't you think that there should be divisions? I mean, look at Franco Colombo and Arnold. I can go on and on. The short guy never wins, never, no matter how good he is, never seems to beat the bigger guy, the taller guy. Don't you think it'd be nicer if they had another division, maybe lighter body weight? And Sean answered, which shocked me. He says, no. He says, there should only be one Mr. Olympia. He says, having more than one division takes away the prestige of the title. That's the way. He couldn't foresee that eventually there'd be a 212 division, of course.
Well, 212 was that became for the shorter guys, right? The ones that were that's why it was created, basically.
That's exactly why it was created, for the exact reason I said, because it was very apparent that the shorter guys No matter how good they are, we're never going to beat the big guys. It's not going to, when I say big, again, just slightly taller, but let's say your body weight, whatever. So this is to answer your question, is a long-winded way of answering it. This is what I worry about with Flex, with Flex Lewis. To me, he's a winning physique. In other words, I could see him winning. Let me put it that way, a flat statement. But will he win? I mean, Brandon is not that much taller than him.
I was gonna say that I have to look at the comparison between the two because I feel like Flex is actually not that short, and I feel like Brandon is great too, but I just feel like he'll definitely has a good chance to at least be in the top two.
Let me put it this way: if I keep calling Flex Flex Lewis, if Flex Lewis, Flex Wheel is another great. You know what? I mean, if you ask me the greatest bodybuilder, if you ask me, I really should have. If you had, I should have put Flex Wheeler. That's the name I forgot because to me he's one of the right there in the top five. I'd have to put him in there too.
Who do you want to swap? Who would you swap out for him?
I'm going to swap out. All due respect to Frank, he's a friend of. I'd have to take Frank Saint out and put in Flex Wheeler. Even though Frank won the Olympia 3 times and Flex never, because Flex his physique was so. I can't even. I don't have words to even say it. It was so incredibly superb. The man had everything. I mean, I have to put Flex in there. But as far as Flex Lewis goes, let me give you this statement. If Flex Lewis shows up in the best shape ever, he could win. I'm saying that. I think in a fair show, and again, all due respect to Brandon Curry, I agree with you, a great bodybuilder, a great person too. And I don't know Flex Lewis, I assume he is too. But the thing is, if he shows up, in my opinion, shredded head to toe with those big calves he has and everything else, he could win. There's no question in my mind. He could win. Yeah.